Welcome to the third of the 5 videos where I share with you guys my years of 2014, 15 and 16. We ended last video with the finish of the 2014 Drive DMAC Fiesta Trophy, and now I'm going to talk about what I did in the year of 2015, where pretty much I couldn't afford to rally. After the last rally in the DMAC season, I tried to stay in Europe for as long as possible, and I was working on getting something within one of the WRC teams. Be it a role of a media person or test driver, or to do maybe some recce's or one-off events. And despite help of a lot of people, unfortunately we weren't able to secure that. I was very lucky and honored to get some support, help and advice from the V&V Sport Management, a driver management company owned and run by Kim Vatnin, the son of Ari Vatnin, and Ati Varsta. They managed drivers like Sebastian Ogier, Craig Breen, Hayden Paddon, and some very famous rallycross drivers as well. They helped me a lot with advice, and they even helped me to find some programs in Europe where we were able to get a third of the cost of the program off as a discount in return for my social media presence. However, I was still not able to secure the other 2/3 of the necessary budget. They also talked to me that a career path in the rallycross world would be quite a lot easier than in rallying. My only question was, well, look, if I do 1 or 2 years of rallycross, will that help me then to get back to performance rallying at the level I want to go? And they said, unfortunately not. It's a completely different path, and once you go rallycross, it doesn't really help you in rallying. And again, I wasn't gonna kind of change my passion for glory. I didn't want to give up rallying to go to stadium racing, although it's maybe a new thing that's growing, but I just don't love it as much as I do stage rallying, so I had to stay in my path. Meanwhile, I was doing my best contacting WRC teams directly, offering my services as possibly a test driver or a gravel crew driver or anything to do with the team, maybe on the marketing side of things. And I wasn't just sending letters, I was working hard at preparing big, nice video letters to team bosses and so on. But unfortunately, it still never came to anything solid.
I'm in love with rallying, and I'm likely the most passionate rally driver you will ever meet. That's why I'm sure I can bring value to your team. The fans always support true passion. I can offer your team a unique package, which is something no other rally driver can offer. In essence, it's an opportunity to be a part of your team in whatever way you feel is the most beneficial for you.
In the beginning of March 2015, I simply ran out of money. I couldn't afford to pay rent even in Bulgaria, and I had to return to Canada. Right off the plane, guess what CanJam family did? They gave me keys to Baby Bastard, one of the Subarus at the back, and they said, tomorrow is the rallycross, go do it, go have some fun. I don't even want to go into how shitty I felt then, one of the hardest parts of my life ever. So to get the keys to a rallycross car and go have some fun right away without having to think about what's next was actually a very, very welcome distraction. And I won my class, it was a good time, and placed quite high overall as well because it was a snow event. Like I said earlier, my goal never changed. I always wanted to get back to rallying as soon as possible. Now, how could I try to do it this time? I decided to do something different. If I got anywhere in my career, that was largely because of your support and the social media and the digital marketing thing that I was able to create. So I said, hey, why don't I approach same people that have supported me while I was racing, and even though I'm not racing right now, I could still offer them some of the services to promote their businesses in return for some money. So there you go, that's how we started a marketing company called CLM Strategies, which was pretty much concentrating on providing digital marketing services, starting from the companies I already knew, and then I started branching out into other industries. I was able to sign one of the American startup biotech companies. We worked with some people in the entertainment industry in Europe. I was negotiating even with the famous Donovan Bailey in Canada, and overall it was going okay. We also were talking and did some work with one of the top 5 biggest technology companies in the world. And while it was going okay, it was kind of taking me further and further from the sport. So I was doing less and less work related to cars and rallying and so on. And I started realizing that's not ideal, and I tried to alter something. So I tried to go after companies that are a little bit more involved in things like active sports and extreme sports. For example, we did this commercial with Pepsi's brand Kickstart. Check it out. Also, during that whole year, I pretty much from scratch started and created CanJam Motorsports' entire digital marketing thing. Their initial growth on Facebook, for example, was unprecedented for a company that size. I think over 4,000 people in the first 2-3 weeks. While I already had a couple of more outside of the sport, not car-related customers going to pay the basic bills, I went to CanJam and tried to get them to be more involved, and we did it through their other company, CSCS. We did a lot of cool things on racetracks that year. We did a lot of shotgun rides in the Beast. So we changed up the suspension and brakes on the Beast to turn it into a racetrack trim. And we've done a lot of promotion for the series by auctioning out rides with me in the Beast on the racetracks. That was quite a lot of fun, and I got a lot of driving out of it.
You can win a ride with me in this very car this Sunday, July 5th at the second round of CSCS. This ride is going to be on a racetrack, not on a gravel stage, but with a sequential gearbox, bespoke racing differentials and proper power. I guarantee it's going to be an amazing experience.
Now, the footage we're gonna show you in a second is actually my favorite. The camera is installed on one of North America's very fastest front-wheel drive time attack cars, and we're actually in a race. CSCS had this thing called Max Attack where we did a legitimate door-to-door race. That was very exciting. So slower cars were starting ahead, and the fastest cars were starting at the back. So he was starting at the very last. He passed everybody in the pack. At this point, he just caught me, and I stayed ahead for a whole lap. Check it out. So as you can see, it wasn't a completely disastrous year. However, I wasn't rallying, and that sucked. Then, again, thanks to you guys, my fans and friends on social media, something special happened, completely by chance. I posted this picture of an accident in a driving school, in a regular driving school. And 3 people, I think, commented something like, "Oh, we'd like to take some driving lessons with you, Leo." I was like, interesting. So then in a week or 2, I posted a really cool picture of a big accident in the driving school. And I asked, who wants to take driving lessons with me? And I think like 70 people commented on that one. That is exactly how I got an idea to start a driving school, an advanced driving school. And that's how the idea of Race Lab was born. And thanks to tremendous amount of help from everybody in the rally community, from a lot of new people I met, like Tyler is one of them and one of the biggest helpers, we were actually able to hold the first public Race Lab event as early as the end of 2015. But I still had absolutely no idea how quickly Race Lab would become a huge part of my life. See you next Sunday. In Europe, we were... Let's just think with... There you go, short and sweet.